Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Mind on Football Fans Podcast, your go to home for the best league in the world, the Premier League. Yes, that is right. And just so you know, the Premier League is back this Friday, the 16th of August. Yes, Man United kick off against Fulham at Old Trafford. I can't wait for that. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be back. Missed you guys. I missed you guys. I hope you guys missed us as much as we missed you. Um, a lot of things have happened this preseason, a lot to get into, but we're not really going to get into all that. This episode is just fully focused on our preseason predictions. Yes, as I said, the season starts this Friday. Man United kick off against Fulham. So we're here to give you our preseason predictions. Yup. So last season, precisely this time exactly, we did give our preseason predictions. That was exactly that. Yeah, that was me and Spy. We gave our preseason predictions. Yeah, and by the way, Spy isn't here today. He'll be joining us in a few weeks' time. He's currently off with some engagement of his own. But back to what I'll say. Yes, we did give our preseason predictions for last season, and I think we did fairly good. We did fairly good on some of them. Obviously, others were by far a stretch off. But I think this time we should get it. We'll be right there. I didn't go for anything too crazy, but maybe I did some one or two things here and there. But I believe this time we should hit the mark right on the bull's eye. So without further ado, don't forget to please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Catch us wherever you get your podcast. We're right there. Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast, we're right there. So please check us out there. Check out our socials, Mind with Football Fans, TikTok, Instagram, we're right there. Content every day pretty much dropping for you guys. So please check us out there. So let's get right into it, shall we? First off, we're going to start with the champions of the Premier League. Yes, so last time I predicted Arsenal to win the league, and I'm not going to shy away from it. This time I'm also predicting Arsenal to win the league. We already know what Arsenal can do. My prediction this time has nothing to do with what precisely Arsenal can do because we already know what they can do. My prediction this time has everything to do with Man City. Right, so Man City pretty much this transfer window have looked very bleak. They lost Julian Alvarez. They haven't really brought in any big name. Their team actually even looks thinner this time. So I can't really see Man City going full force this season, especially because they have the Premier League, they have the Champions League, and Champions League format has also changed too. So they are playing a lot more games also. Then they have the Club World Cup in 2025, where they are also playing more games too. And obviously you have your usuals, you have your FA Cup, you have your Carabao Cup. So I don't see how they can actually contain and play all these games with the amount of players they have. I feel like there'll be a little drop off. As I said, they haven't really added anybody. And then, again, like last year, they kind of lost more than they gained. Losing Julian Alvarez isn't a small thing. I think that's really huge for them. And no one really saw that coming. Obviously, they brought in Savinho, but I don't think he's in that quality of replacing Julian Alvarez. So I think my prediction for champion this season has everything to do with Man City rather than Arsenal. I think Arsenal we already know what they will do. The players are the same. They brought in some new faces. Calafiori has been brought in. You know, Timber he feels like a new signing this season. So yeah, I know what Arsenal will do, and obviously I don't think Arsenal's business is done precisely. So I think we'll already know what Arsenal will do. I'm confident that Arsenal, third time this charm, Arsenal will win the Premier League. Let's get right into top four. Completing making up the top four, we have City, Liverpool, and Spurs. So I actually thought about this one for a minute, and precisely the fourth place Spurs. I know City will finish second. I know Liverpool will finish third. But for Spurs, I think Spurs will finish fourth. And why is that? Well, it's simple. They brought in Dominic Solanke. Amazing. He had what, 18 goals last season and like 4 assists, top goal scorer. They are still not lacking people. They have amazing players, James Madison, Jojan Kulusevski. They have Heung-min Son. They have an amazing defense. Their goalkeeper is legit, Vicario. Like, they are legit. But obviously, Spurs, like, I'm not going to hype up Spurs. You know, I'm a big Arsenal fan, as you can see. I'm not going to hype up Spurs. But I just think that they will make it to this time, make it to fourth position this time. I think they have all the tools I don't see them winning the big six matchups that much, but I think pretty much anything from sixth down, I think it will be fairly simple for them. Um, so that's my reason for having Spurs. Liverpool, the same. Like I'm not like there's no big difference with Liverpool this season and last season. Um, Salah will be Salah. Luis Diaz will be Luis Diaz. Darwin Nunes will be Darwin Nunes. He has the good, the bad, and the ugly with him together. So I'm not worried too much about Darwin Nunes. And again, City, as I said previously, City have lost more than they gained this past preseason or this past window. Um, but then I'm still going to respect them because they are the defending champions of the Premier League. So I still see them winning. Well, no, sorry, not winning it, but still finishing second. I see them finishing above Liverpool, but I still think they will dominate. But it won't just be as previous seasons. They won't have that 20 game winning run they used to have once we hit January. I don't see them having that because I think at that time everything was just kind of setting, and you just see that a little drop off from what we usually see. Making up the Europa spot, which is pretty much fifth and sixth. I have United finishing fifth. United have gone out, bringing all the big boys in. Matthias De Ligt, the defender from also the defender from Bayern. They brought in Joshua Zirkzee from Bologna, I think, if I remember correctly. And then they brought in the defender from. Ooh, I've blanked on this one. Well, anyways, the defender Euro, obviously he's currently injured, but he's scheduled to come back sometime soon. So hopefully we'll see that he's not sometime soon, but sometime before the end of the year. So hopefully we see him soon. Again, they still have the players they did. Rashford, I don't see him having as terrible of a season as he did last year. Garnacho would still be Garnacho. Ahmed will come back strong. The midfield is still the same. And this time, Casemiro will not go play fullback or centre back or whatever position Ten Hag put him last year. So I think they'll really be, and I think there's a stability at the club this time with the new ownership that has come in. I think they have settled things down. I think the fact that Ten Hag has also his future is also settled, I think will go a long way in bringing stability for United, which they really need right now because last season was horrendous. Actually, horrendous is actually too small of a word to describe what happened to Manchester United last season. They were so lucky that they won the FA Cup and were able to get into Europe, or pretty much they should not really be in Europe right now. Their performances does not deserve to be in Europe right now. So I have United finishing fifth, and then I have Villa finishing sixth. Obviously, Villa, big transfer window for them, also bringing in Onana, bringing in this guy Ross Barkley from Luton, signing him on a free. No, sorry, not on a free, but signing him from Luton. They still have Watkins, they still have McGee. Obviously, they lost Diaby to the Saudi Pro League, but they still have what's his name? Eric Bailey. That's his name, right? Eric Bailey. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on it, but they still have Bailey, they still have Watkins, they still have Konza, they still have McGinn, and now they have fresh. Bundea is coming back. Last season, obviously, he didn't feature that much. Their defense is still really strong. Konza is still there. Matikash is still there. This guy is coming back fresh and fit. Oh my, why am I blanking on these names? But anyways, Villa I think also have improved really great. So I see them finishing sixth. Conference League. Conference League, I have Chelsea. And now this might come as a shock because we literally do not know what Chelsea we are going to get. We don't know if we're going to get the Chelsea that pretty much played the second half of the season last year or the Chelsea that started the season. We really don't know. We know the coach, yes, Eska Moleska. We know he's good. We know what he did for Leicester last year. But then as a team, Chelsea, you don't just know what you get. And technically, they do not have a starting lineup. Like, let's be frank, Chelsea do not have a starting lineup. Every day, you are hearing Chelsea signing someone. Signed Pedro Neto. Signed Louis Dewsbury Hall from, obviously, Leicester, coming to reunite with his coach. Signed the four lines, Gay or something along those lines. So you don't know Chelsea's starting lineup. They still have Sterling, they still have Modric, they still have Cole Palmer, they still have Noni Madueke, they still have Nicholas Jackson. Then their midfield, you still have Enzo, you still have, then you have Lavia coming back from injury. You have this guy from Brighton that they signed last season, Caicedo. Then their defense, they brought in Tony. They brought in a new goalkeeper. Like they do not have a set lineup. The one thing that is certain is that Chelsea will still keep signing players. Now they have Pedro Neto. Is he going to start? Is he going to be on the bench? I mean, yeah, Chelsea are in Europe, yes. And I know it's a lot of games still, but like they have a lot of players. I think if I remember correctly, they have 42 players on their payroll. That's a lot of players. That's a lot of feelings to keep in check. That's a lot of egos to keep in check. I don't know how you do that. So Chelsea, I'm going to give them benefit of the doubt, and just because of their last, just because of how they ended the season, the way the run they went on to end the season, I'm going to give them benefit of the doubt and say they are going to finish in the Conference League spot, which is seventh. Yes. So that's my top seven. Arsenal winning. Arsenal is winning the league. City second. Liverpool third. Spurs fourth. United follow in fifth. Villa sixth, and then Chelsea finishing seventh. Now to go to the bottom of the league. Obviously, we have three newly promoted teams. That's Ipswich, Southampton, and Leicester. Now, relegation. I have Forest and I have Southampton. I do not have a third team yet. I don't know why, but I do not see Ipswich actually getting relegated. I do not see Leicester getting relegated. I also do not see Everton fighting for relegation this season, so I really do not know who to put as the third team to get relegated. But one thing I'm sure is Forest or Southampton are getting relegated. That's one thing I know for sure. Player of the season. This will be a good one. Probably will clip this and put it out there for you guys. Player of the season, I have Rice, Declan Rice. If Arsenal does win the league, which they will, hold me to that, which they will, I have Rice winning the player of the season. If that doesn't happen, I'm going to give a second cop out. I'm going to give a second option, which is kind of a cop out for myself. I'm going to go the traditional route and say Mo Salah. I think Mo Salah will have an amazing season this year. Last season, yes, it wasn't one of his best, but it still was. That's kind of a good season for some other type of players. Like that was a really good season. I can't remember. I finished with what 17 goals or something along those lines. So I have Rice winning the player of the season, or as a cop out for myself, and you guys can hold me to this, I have Mo Salah. Playmaker, for the playmaker award, I'm going to give this to Odegaard. I feel like Arsenal, he will have so many assists, and he will score goals. I see him having 10 plus goals, 10 plus assists this season. I think he'll be instrumental to leading Arsenal. Obviously, last season he did lead Arsenal, but I think this time it will be much more fierce and much more strong, leading Arsenal to the title this season. So I have the playmaker award going to Odegaard. I have the Golden Boot winner. Now I know this might sound boring, but we can't doubt him. 2 seasons in a row, he has hit 20 plus goals. He scores goals for fun. Erling Haaland. I have Haaland winning the Golden Boot this season. I think he needs 37 goals to reach 100 Premier League goals. 100 Premier League goals in 3 seasons being in the Premier League is crazy. That is mental. That is mental. I think that is scoring like left, right. Like once he gets the ball, he just scores. So if you do the math, right, 100 divided by 3 is about 30 point or 30, whatever, 30 something goals a season. That is crazy. That is actually mental. I think last season he finished what, 27 or something along those. I can't remember. I cannot remember how many finished with last season, but that is just mental. Erling Haaland needs 37 goals to reach 100 goals this season, and he can literally do it. I mean, what didn't he finish with what, 39 or 37 in his first season? He can literally finish with 37 goals this season, and I do see him winning the league's golden boot. And I'm going to myself another cop out too, and I'm going to go the old route, the traditional route, and go with Mo Salah again. If Erling Haaland doesn't win it, I think it will be Mo Salah. And I just think he'll be instrumental in Liverpool. The goals, pretty much, we know the goals pretty much come from him. I really don't know who else brings in the goals, but I think he will bring in most of the goals this season. And I think he'll have an amazing season. Obviously, last season was a little bit of a drop off for him, as I mentioned earlier. But I feel like this season he'll take it up a notch. I watched him in preseason and he looked really good. He looked really happy to be there. Obviously, with the new hair look, He looks really energetic. He looks ready to for the season to start off. So I'm excited. I'm excited for Salah. I feel like this will be his season. And again, between him and Haaland for Golden Boots, that's just a cop out for myself. So that was Golden Glove. I have Arsenal. David Raya winning it. I feel last season he won it. Arsenal had the best defense, and I still think it will happen again. They did not get worse. They actually got better. Yuri Timber is back. They brought in Calafiori. As we know, Calafiori is amazing. He can play literally any position and backline. Yuri Timber the same thing. And again, one of the reasons why Arsenal win the league because of their defense. Championships are won on defense. You win championships with amazing defenses. Obviously last year they fell short, still having the best defensive record in the league. They fell short, but I'm confident that they will win it on good defense and have the best defense in the league, and that's why David Raya will be the Golden Glove winner this season. Young player of the season. Okay, I have three options. William Saliba. I feel last year he was robbed of it because last year he was amazing. I feel last year for him not even be nominated, I think that was just mental. But this year I have young player of the season, either William Saliba or Kobe Menu. Coming in mid-season last year, he was amazing. He was amazing for England in the Euros, and I do not see him regressing. I think his spot in the Manchester United team is held firm. Like, I don't see it moving. I don't see anyone replacing him on that team. I think having Casemiro behind him allows him to do both the defensive and the attacking side of football, which is kind of what Declan Rice does for Arsenal too. So, young players say I have Kobe Menu also as an option. And then last but not least, I have Morgan Rogers up at Aston Villa. Towards the end of last season, we saw bits and glimpses of what he could do. And preseason, the same thing. He was just up there. Part of that in Aston Villa midfield that's just really good. So between three of them, but if you ask me to pick a definitive one, I'll probably say William Saliba. I feel like, again, last year he was robbed, and that is mental. That was mental, he was robbed. So, player of the season, my short pick is William Saliba, but it could go between William Saliba, Kobe Menu, and Morgan Rogers up at Aston Villa. Now, this one might shock people, but I don't think it should. The overachievers of the season. I think it would be Crystal Palace. Last season we saw what they did. Obviously, yes, they lost Mikel Olise to Bayern, but they still have Ebrecheze. They still have Jonathan Mateta that was lighting up in the Olympics. They still have the amazing midfield. They still have Oliver Glasner. Like towards the end of last season, we saw what they could do. They were electrifying, pretty much scoring goals left, right, and center. They still have Jordan Ayew. Like, they still have McGahey. They still have, come on. Like, I just feel like, and then they added a few more pieces this season. Yes, if I remember correctly, added a few more pieces. I think they'll be really good. We saw towards the end of last season what they could do, and I think they will be the overachiever. I'm not saying they will go to the point of finishing in Europe. No, that's not what I mean. No, I mean they'll probably finish 10th. No, 10th is kind of a down. Yeah, I'll probably say ninth. Ninth, 10th, between 9th, 10th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, I'll probably give it to them right there. So overachievers of the season, I think, would be Crystal Palace. Underachievers. So last year, if I remember correctly, I gave underachievers to either Chelsea or Manchester United. And well, that we kind of saw what happened. They both underachieved greatly. This year, I'm not going to give it to any of those teams because I think they will achieve what realistically where they are. I'm going to give it to West Ham. Now, this might come as a shock why I'm giving it to West Ham. Well, the reason why I'm giving it to West Ham is simple. Do you see the amount of signings they brought in this season? This transfer window so far? Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Nicholas Froken, they literally hijacked another transfer. I can't remember the name of the guy. They have been bringing in players. Joel Lopetegui has been attracting players. Let me not even forget Somerville from Leeds. These are high quality players. And let's not forget, they haven't lost players too. James Ward-Prowse is still there. Mikel Antonio is still there. Jared Bowen is still there. This guy from Mexico, Alvarez is still there. Susek is still there. Crosswell they still have players. I think okay, maybe they did lose some players. They lost Kotzuma, obviously, but that's just one of the amount of players they lost. But they brought in way more players than it's crazy how many players they brought in this transfer window. It's like they used the Declan Rice 105 million from Arsenal to just bring in all these players. Like it's crazy. Like that's the definition of proper spending. And obviously with this amount of players brought in, and I've seen this before. If you look back to last no, 2 seasons ago when Forest first came into the league, Forest were bringing in all these players from everywhere. Literally any free agent they could sign, they signed. Any player they could buy, literally they brought in, and they were literally fighting for their lives to stay in this league. So West Ham, I see the same thing too, signing all these big players, signing all these players. I think it should just be a lot, and obviously with all the signings, you kind of think, oh, they're aiming for that Europe spot, pretty much seventh, eighth, ninth. I feel like they'll probably finish 14th. I've seen them like going 14th, 15th. I'm not going to doubt Julian Lopetegui. I think he's a good manager, but I just feel like that's kind of where their ceiling is. Especially with this new side, I think it's take them a season, and that's kind of why I have them as my underachievers of the season. Best signing of the season, I think it would be Solanke. I think he will have the kind of season he had last year with Bournemouth. I think he will probably score goals, especially with having Son on the right of him, and then Kulusevski on the left. Like that's assist left, right, left. And then you have James Madison behind him. That's just balls, and he's fast, he's quick, he's strong, he's a good enough finisher to be scoring 18 goals a season with the right chances. He's also good in the air too. So I do have him being the best signing of the season. Again, cop out for myself. I'm going to, if it's not Solanke, to be Calafiori. I see Calafiori playing on the left. Okay. I see him playing on the left side of Arsenal's defense as left back. Obviously, we know he can play centre back. So if, God forbid, one of our defenders goes down, I do see him coming in and filling it up nicely too. So Solanke is my 1A. Calafiori is my 1B. Hold me to that. Hold me to that. Yes. Worst signing. So in my notes here, I put any player Chelsea signed. That's just a joke. That's just to try throw them. But I do think the worst signing of the season would be in Chelsea. Just because I've seen, other than Cole Palmer, I can't really think of maybe Enzo, Caicedo, maybe. Those are the only signings I can remember of people they have signed and haven't been terrible. But then you look at the likes of Modric, you look at the likes of Sterling, look at the likes of Jackson. Yeah, Jackson had a decent season, but then at first it was terrible. So I think, and I'm not going to give it to Pedro Neto. I think Pedro Neto will be amazing. But I just think one of these players that Chelsea have signed would be really terrible. Like they'll get a starting spot week 1 and just be really bad. I'm not going to name names, but I'm just going to leave it as vague as it is right there. My manager of the season, Mikel Arteta. And I think we already know if Arsenal is winning the league. Again, it was mental how he did not forget. Okay, let's drop the bias, right? I'm an Arsenal fan, let's drop the bias. But I think it was absolutely mental how Arteta did not get the manager of the season last year. Yeah, we know Pep, but whatever. Pep is up here. But like for Arteta not to get manager of the season was absolutely mental. I think he was 2 points, take City all the way to the final. I think that was just crazy. Like, anyways, let me not digress. To come back to the point, I think manager of the season, because Arsenal will win the league and because it is well deserved, would be Mikel Arteta. And this is not Arsenal bias. This is just facts I'm bringing to you guys. As simple as it is. I'm also going to give my predictions for the winners of the other leagues in Europe. So we're talking about La Liga, we're talking about the French league, we're talking about Serie A, we're talking about the German league, we're talking about the Dutch league, we're probably also going to talk about the league in Turkey because some exciting news up in there. So for the La Liga, the Spanish league, I have Real Madrid winning it. I just think Madrid are mental this season. Like, you cannot have the likes of Jude Bellingham, Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius, Rodrigo. Like you still have Cruz, you still have Valverde, you still have Tremaine, you still have Camavinga, Rudiger, Davis, and then you have your Courtois coming back. Like, that's the mental of a team right there. Don't get me wrong, Barca, I think, have also improved. They have brought in Hansi Flick, amazing manager, great coach. But I just think those guys aren't losing. Like, forget. Let's be fair. Let's be fair. Let's be fair. You cannot have those guys and lose. Like, I see them winning, and I'm not giving like Champions League predictions, but I see them winning La Liga. I see them winning the Champions League also. I'm sorry, like that's I'm not. And this is not me giving my Champions League predictions. That will come later in the as we go in this season. But like that team is just mental. So Madrid winning the La Liga trophy. I have Napoli winning Serie A. Why is that? One name, Antonio Conte. If he gets Lukaku, if Lukaku goes to Napoli, it's finished. Like, I already have Napoli winning the league, but if Lukaku goes, it's finished. It's done. It's a done deal. Like, I'm sorry, it's done. So Napoli, clip that there. It's winning Syria. The French league, PSG. Like, there's nothing new there. Like, let's just move on. The German league, yeah, Leverkusen. Nah. I have Bayern winning it. I think this will be Kane's first trophy. I think he's way past due for Kane to win his first trophy. I think he'll be electric. I think Vincent Kompany is a good enough coach or good enough mind. I don't know what his title is, coach, manager, whatever it is. I think he's good enough to take this team back to where it belongs in winning the German league. Again, they got Michael Olise. They still have Harry Kane. They still have Leroy Sané. They still have Kingsley Coman. They still have Yamal Musiala. Like, they still have this player. They still have Kimmich. I think Kompany is good enough. We saw what he did last season in Premier League with Burnley. Imagine having a way. This is Burnley right here. This is Bayern right here. I'm sorry. Like, it's that high. So yeah, I have Bayern winning it. In the Turkish league, I have Fenerbahce. One reason and one reason alone, Jose Mourinho. The special one. It's that simple. I have Dutch league going back to Ajax. I think is also long overdue. I think it's been a minute since they last won it. Obviously, PSV has won it. Feyenoord has won it. I think it's about time Ajax goes back to winning it. So clip that. Those are my predictions for the top 5 leagues in Europe. To round up the show, we're going to do the preview for the first games of the season. Yes, the preview for the first games of the season. Kicking off, I have United hosting Fulham at Old Trafford Friday the 16th. Make sure you guys watch it, check it out. That'll be an electric atmosphere. I have United winning that comfortably. 3-0. Yeah, I have United winning it comfortably. Kickoff Saturday morning here in the US. Ipswich, Liverpool. I think Liverpool have been electric. If you watch their game this preseason, they have just been amazing. It's like they haven't really lost a bit, and the slot has come in and rejuvenated them to a bit, kind of. And don't get me wrong, yeah, they haven't had any big name signings, but I think like this team can go all the way to finishing third. I'm not going to say they're going all the way to finish first. They can literally go all the way to finish third, have a good Champions League season, quarterfinals of the FA Cup, semi-final of the Carabao Cup, whatever. I think that's kind of how this team goes. Even if they still don't sign anybody this transfer window, I think they'll be that amazing. So Liverpool, I have Liverpool beating Ipswich the early morning kickoff game, and then you have Arsenal Wolves. Arsenal winning the league. Arsenal beating Wolves comfortably. I see 3-0. I have Odegaard 2 assists that game. So very simple. I have Brighton. I'm going to go with Everton on this one. And just because I think Everton too, as much as yes, they have lost players, I think they've also had a decent transfer window. Sean Dyche is no slouch. I still do not see them fighting relegation. Last season, if not for the point deduction, they were really, really good. They could have finished maybe 12th. I think maybe that might be a stretch, but like I think that's a realistic ceiling to where they could have finished last season, if not for the point deduction. So I'm going with Everton. Brighton, they lost Pascal Gross. They got a new manager. I don't really know too much about him. So this would be kind of like my, see what goes on for Brighton precise. This would be like a test run to see how Brighton are. Newcastle, Southampton, Newcastle, like at St. James Park, Newcastle 100% every day, all day long. Forest, Bournemouth, I have Bournemouth winning it. We know what Andrea Iraola can do. Bournemouth, yes, they lost Solanke, but they have brought in new guys. They brought in this guy from Arejo from Barcelona. They've brought in some other names in the team, and we know what Andy Ariola can do. I'm not going to say it's going to be a walkout game for Bournemouth, but I think it will be competitive. But I still see Bournemouth edging town. West Ham Villa. I see Villa winning this. Even though they're away from home, I still see Villa winning it. West Ham, yeah, as I said, it will take them time for this new signings to come in and just make an instant impact. So Villa, because they are tried and true, I'm going to go with Villa. Sunday games kick off with Brentford against Palace. That'll be a good game. Brentford, amazing side. We know what Thomas Frank can do. They still have Ivan Toney. They still have Brandon Bemu. They still have amazing guys up in there. Palace, we know what they are all about. I don't think Philip Mateta might start that game just because obviously the Olympics just finished and he was tearing it up in the Olympics. So I'm going to go for a draw on this one. This is the only one I'll go on a draw with. And yeah, just because I think they're just both amazing teams and it will be really hard to decide who wins this one. So I'm going to go for a draw here. Again, that might be my cop out. Chelsea City, Sunday game. So funny enough, they played this exact game in the preseason, and City ended up winning 5-2 or 4-2. Haaland obviously scored a hat trick in that game, and I'm still going to go for City, even though it's at Stamford Bridge. I'm still going to go for City. I think Cole Palmer will have an amazing game, but then I still think City will dominate. I think Haaland will probably score like 2, 3, whatever it is. Make sure you have Haaland in your FPL, by the way. Since we're talking about Haaland, make sure there are some key players to have your FPL. Haaland is one of them. Let's just divert to that for a second. Have Haaland, have Salah, have Odegaard, have Saliba, and have, I won't say Vicario, but then I know Spurs style of play, they'll probably let in too many goals. I'm going to say Pickford. Have Pickford. Pickford did finish second in clean sheets last season, so have Pickford up in there, your FPL team. But back to Matchweek 1 preview. I'd have City beating Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. And then to round off Matchweek 1, that will be really electric. Leicester Spurs. I have Spurs winning this. I think Solanke will have a goal. Martin will have like 2 assists. Son, we know what Son does. Nothing new there. Leicester, I'm not going to go too deep into Leicester because again, newly promoted team. Let's see how they fare. Even though yes, they have won the Premier League, yes, they do have experience. I just think this time around will be very different. Getting Steve Cooper coming in, new manager, players. Maybe they lost 1 or 2 key players, so we'll see how that goes. But that is Matchweek 1 preview. Again, make sure you guys don't miss this game. Kick off Friday. United against Fulham at Old Trafford. That'll be electric. The atmosphere will be electric. The vibes will be immaculate. I can't wait to watch that. Can't wait for the new season to kick off. This has been fun. Thank you guys so much for joining me. And again, my preseason predictions. I have Arsenal winning the league. Yes. And this is not an Arsenal bias, by the way. And this is just facts. Arsenal are winning the league. Thank you guys so much. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to check out our socials. Instagram, TikTok, Football Fans. We're right there. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Have an amazing week ahead. Again, Matchweek 1. Make sure you guys don't miss it. We're out. Thank you.
We are Rogue Media Sports.